Hey YouTube, it's Adrian. Just before we get you to this video, do me a favor and head over to pageantlaunch.com. We are starting the world's first dedicated pageant review site, and I would love for you to join our launch team. All you need to do is put in your email address. It's completely free. We are looking to make a pageant industry that is safe, transparent, and fair. I know it's like that most of the time, but over the last year, it's become very evident that it's not like that all of the time. So head over to pageantlaunch.com, put in your email address, and let's get you to this.
I'm Eddison Holmes, IJM UK teen, and this is my interview with the Pageant Project.
Boom, I think we're live. Good morning, no, good evening for you guys, everyone. It's Adrian from the Pageant Project, and I've got Eddison Holmes with me. Eddison, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Eddison had a few technical difficulties with her Skype, and then I had a few technical difficulties on my end. And we got a few people saying hi already. Ellie has said hi, go Ed. May Parry has said hey, girlfriend. If you have any questions for Eddison, put them in the comments. There's this ongoing thing between yourself, Bethany, and Ellie as to who's going to be nice to one another. How well do you three know each other? You seem to, like Ellie was saying, that you're on FaceTime all the time until 5 in the morning or something?
Yeah, so Ellie and Beth have actually ruined my sleep routine. So we're on FaceTime every single day until like 4 or 5 in the morning. And then my mum will get me up so early. And I'm like, Ellie and Beth, this is your fault.
What time do you like to go to sleep normally?
Well, when I used to go to school, I was in bed by like 11 o'clock.
Right, okay. Is there any particular reason you guys can't jump on a call earlier, or do you just talk for 7 hours?
We do get on quite early. Well, I don't know, we all have dinner quite late, and then I have a baby brother, so I'll help out with him, and then we'll call about 11, and then we just have so much to talk about every day. I don't know why, though, because we're not really doing much in the day. So I don't know why we have so much to talk about.
In isolation, what do you have to talk about? What did I do today? I lay in bed in my pajamas and I ate cookies.
That's literally what we talk about.
For hours on end. Sounds good to me.
We practice accents for ages.
Well, now you've dug your own grave. What accents do you do?
No, I don't do any accents. I help them with their accents.
Ellie is watching. Ellie, does Eddison do an accent, or is she just being modest? You can see the comments here. Danielle has said, hi, Eddison. Jody has said, so Jody is on, Jody Langoni. Ellie then has said, oopsies. Lynn Nelson McClung has said, Daisy, IJ and Princess UK says hello to her big sister Queen. Missing you so much.
I miss Daisy so much. We're supposed to be at the Queen's Retreat this weekend, so we're all really missing it. Yeah,
I know the Miss Wales girls are also supposed to be having their, I think the pageant was supposed to start today or yesterday as well. So it's getting to all of us, isn't it? Maggie G has said, hey Angel. Ruth Wade has said, hi Queenie. Alison Bentley has said, hi love Lois. And Sarah Blissett has said, hi Ed. Why is Sarah watching and Bethany is not? Bethany, I'm disappointed.
Because Beth's if you're watching, drawing. Beth said that she's drawing.
She can watch whilst... Anyway, I won't give her a hard time. See, it's already started. Because you mentioned the accents, Maria Parry has already said, Ed, you can do a Brummie accent. What's a Brummie accent? Is that Birmingham?
Birmingham, yeah, May's accent. I can do May's accent a little bit, but May gets so annoyed.
I don't know what a Brummie accent is. Can you say something in a Brummie accent?
Let me think. My name's May and I'm from Birmingham. It sounds like, it's like, I don't know, it's like a Birmingham accent. May, what does May always say? Oh, I'm hungry, Mum. I want to go to McDonald's because I'm hungry. That's all May ever says.
Okay, I might get you to go back to your normal accent because that other accent is the Brummie accent is Oh dear. Okay, I'll leave the comments alone for a sec. Otherwise, we're just going to be talking about accents for like an hour, I think. Edison, obviously, this is not your first pageant. So can you walk us through your pageant history, how you got started and how you got to the point where you are now with IJM?
Yes, so I entered my very first pageant in 2016, and that was for the 2017 Miss Junior Teen Great Britain finals. And then I competed in my first year in 2017, and I placed top 8, and I won Best Smile. And I just fell in love with pageants, and that's where I first met Ellie and loads of other girls that I'm still taught to every day today. So I fell in love with it, and I persuaded my mum to let me enter the next year. So I entered 2018 for the 19 one, and then that's when I won Miss Junior Teen Great Britain. So I won that year, and that's when I met Beth properly, and then me, Ellie, and Beth became like the closest friends then. So then I had my full year of Miss Junior Teen Great Britain, and I handed over in October, and I wrote this big pageant post the day after I handed over saying like, thank you so much everybody for supporting me, but I'm taking a full year out and I'm focusing on my A-levels, and I was so certain that I was doing that. And then May rang me, I think it was the week before my birthday. May rang me, and she was at the Toby Carvery, and she rang me after an appearance and said that she was entering IJM and would I enter it with her. And I was like, no, like I'm taking a year out, but I'll come and support you. And then she somehow persuaded me, and I spoke to my mum about it, and then February 16th we were at IJM.
So basically, your whole plan to take a year off failed miserably.
I think I was out for about 6 weeks, and then straight back into another pageant.
6 weeks doesn't really count. I mean,
I tried.
So you won Junior Teen GB. That was your second pageant, was it? Your second pageant ever?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so that's a quick start. And you've got the what's it? Not Danielle, Lauren, Joanna Johnson, and Chloe Lake call themselves the Three Psychos. Do you have a name for your little trio?
The
Beth,
Three Musketeers.
And in every group, everyone plays a role. So who in your group who's the smart one?
What are the other options?
Well, there's a smart one. There's a funny one. The loud one.
I think we're
Which
all
one
quite clever, really. I'd say I'm the loud one.
Well said.
And
you're the loud one, right?
We're all quite clever. I'm like the loud and spontaneous one. Ellie is like the mum of the group, the one who's like, if we have an issue, Ellie's the one who will sort it out. If we needed her to, Ellie would be the one to sort it out. And then Beth, I'd say me and Beth between us are like the loud ones, and Ellie just has to like get us to pipe down.
I never would have guessed that. I never would have guessed that Ellie would be the quieter one.
No, Ellie's the quieter one. So Ellie will always be the one who says she's going to sleep first on FaceTime. She'll be like, guys, I'm going to go to bed now, and Ellie will always leave first.
Who's the funny one?
Me.
I love the way you said that. Me, of course. Like, what a stupid question. Are you seeing these comments? So,
no,
what Sarah Blissett has said Bethany is saying she's eating pancakes. That's about Bethany.
She's eating pancakes.
Paige, now I want pancakes. Paige Nicole has said, hey, Edison, so proud of my pageant daughter. Maria Parry and Jodie Langoni have laughed because then May Parry underneath has put, I am offended so much, Ruth.
I'm so sorry, May.
You should... this is an ongoing accent thing. So you got involved in IJM sort of very, very randomly. So what are you looking forward to actually? When is IJM? Because I'm losing track. When are you supposed to be heading overseas to compete in IJM?
We're supposed to be there June the 27th.
Right, okay. And it's still supposed to be going ahead at the moment?
So far, yeah, it hasn't been postponed and flights and things haven't been cancelled yet. So we're just preparing like it is still going ahead, but obviously it's very uncertain at the moment.
Right, fingers crossed. How have you found the IJM system so far? Obviously, you've been part of Miss Teen GB, as in that organisation, and that's one of Holly's organisations.
Yeah.
How have you found the IJM system?
I've absolutely fell in love with the IJM system. After being in Holly's pageants, I thought I'll be in Holly's pageants forever. Like, I love them so much, but I've absolutely fallen in love with IJM. It's completely different to Teen GB, I think, but in like such a good way. And I feel like it was such a good, I know everyone talks about like pageant journeys and you shouldn't have a journey and, you know, a plan. And I don't really have a plan, but this just seemed like such a good next move. And I'm so glad that I entered.
How have you found that it differs to Miss Teen GB? Because obviously IJM is predominantly an American pageant, so that's part of it. But what specifically have you found is a bit different to Teen GB?
So I think it's quite a lot bigger with it being internationals, and I didn't expect it to. I don't think I knew how big it actually was until I entered UK, and then I started like stalking the Instagrams, and then I realized like how big it actually is, and there's so many girls, and I've already like talked and met so many different girls because we have a group chat, and it's kind of hard to talk because we all have different time zones, so we're all trying to like talk when we can, but we've arranged a Zoom call and things like that. But I'm so excited to go to Texas.
Yeah, I remember when I interviewed Rachel Everin probably maybe 9 months ago, a year ago now, and she's the current IJM teen, like international.
Yeah.
And I think she said there were 300 girls. And I don't even know that was total or that was just in her division. Roughly how many girls are we talking about? Do you know?
Yeah, so it is about 300 across the 6 categories. And then depending on the age, it depends on like which one's more popular with girls. So I think the teen one has about 60 contestants in it, but we haven't like found them all or got them all in the group chat yet. But I think when we get there, it'll like hit the UK girls how big this actually is, because even though pageants are quite big in the UK, they're not as big as like America and places, you know, like that. So
nowhere near that size.
No.
When Rachel told me it was 300, I thought she had added an extra zero at the end, because that, from Australia, which is a lot smaller even than the UK, that number is just, she couldn't imagine it. But also IJM and some of these American pageants, I don't know if it's a UK thing, but you guys have optionals, right? There are other sort of sections that you can enter, and then there's a call. So have you gone as far as deciding which parts you're going to be competing in?
Yeah, so in the UK, I entered casual and I did spokesmodel as well, and photogenic. But I don't think I'm going to do spokesmodel just because I found it so stressful, like remembering it. And I did love it doing it in the UK because it boosted my confidence so much. But I think in America, I'm going to have so much other stress to be thinking about. I don't really want to add any stress, but I think I'll be doing casual, but I'm not too sure on the optionals yet. I think my mum wants me to do spokesmodel, but I'm not sure yet.
It's spokesmodel. Is that a speech or is that an interview?
Yeah, so you have to do a speech on stage for 45 seconds, and it has to start with "I just might" for like IJM, and then like something you're passionate about.
Right, 45 seconds is incredibly difficult because it's so short.
Yeah, but when you're on stage, it seems long. Like I thought I was blabbering on, but I would literally do 45 seconds.
You say that, but I think it'd be really difficult to compress it into 45 seconds. You'd go on, be nervous, and then before you knew it, it'd be over.
I know.
Is casual like fashion wear, or is that different?
It's kind of like fashion wear, but without the rhinestones. So it's
okay.
So it's like short dresses and jumpsuits and things like that.
Okay, you guys do love your rhinestones. Let's go into these comments. Ellie has said the youngest of the group is the mother. Alison has said Lois is missing her sister Queen. Bethany has said, sorry to interrupt your pancakes, Beth. You can go back to your pancakes and your drawing. She said, Eddie, you look gorgeous.
Jody Langoni.
Jody has said, I'm so excited to see you. And Beth has said, Adrian finally interviews all 3 Musketeers. Actually, I know who's a short one now that I think about it. Who's taller out of you and Ellie?
I think it's Ellie by like this much.
Okay. All right. Well, she'll be happy with that. being the tall one in the group. Eddison, give us an idea, because obviously you've been very successful. You won your second pageant, and obviously that Miss Teen GB is a big system. So how do you feel you've changed over the few years competing in pageantry?
So in my first year competing, I think I was 15. I must have been 15 because I'm 17 now. So I think I was 15 and 14, 15. So I was quite naive to the whole pageant thing. And I always wanted a hobby. And my sister is so sporty and she's literally good at everything. And I always
That's so
tried
annoying.
everything. I know, it's so annoying. And she's really clever as well. And I always thought, like, oh, I think I'm good at a lot of things, but my family disagree. So I think I've done a lot of hobbies. So I've done ballet, tap, every dance you can think of, singing, drama, musical theatre, sports. I've done everything, every hobby, and every time I did it for about 6 weeks. But all the stuff, like all the tap shoes and everything, did it for like 6 weeks, and then my mum was like, "I don't think this is your hobby." With everything I did. So when I found pageants, I was like, "Oh my gosh, like I think this is my thing." And now my sister's entered as well, so now she's like going to be good at this as well. So she's just an all-rounder in the family, but whatever, it's fine. So then I entered the first year and I was really naive to it. Even though this was 100% my hobby, I was very naive and I thought it was just about like buying the dresses, going to the event and, you know, like just doing a little interview and going on stage for 2 minutes and that's it, you win. And but then when I actually got to Team GB, I was like, this is so much more than that. And from my first year to my second year, people said like they didn't recognize me. I changed so much. Not just in my appearance, but like I think I grew quite a bit. And just in that 1 year, I put so much work in. I raised so much money for charity, and I did like as many appearances as I could. And I started working with like charities closely, and that's when I properly like got into pageants. I think my first year was like a test run.
Well, I think it's fair to say that for everyone, doesn't matter how old they are. I mean, when you first get into pageantry, you have really no idea what you're getting into, do you?
You really don't. I think if my mum knew what I was getting into, she wouldn't have let me do it because I'm completely obsessed with it. It's all I talk about now.
So your sister, first off, is she older or younger?
Younger. She's 12.
And now she's entering pageants as well.
Yeah, she's just entered Little Miss Tea in Great Britain and she's through to the semi-finals.
And you said she's kind of the high achiever, so are you worried now that she's going to be stealing your thunder? Or
Well, I keep saying that, and my mum's like, "You're being so jealous, Edison." And I'm like, "Well, no, she's good at everything." She comes
your
home
sister's...
with. Go on,
you keep going. No, you keep going. She
comes home with like this perfect report card, and she gets like A stars in everything, and she's captain of the netball team, and she's so like sporty, and she dances, and she does gymnastics, and she's like captain of the swim team. She's just an all-rounder, really.
You say it and you look so annoyed whilst just saying it. Like, she's in the comments as well. I thought it was because Ruby, right?
Yeah.
She's gone, that's me. And then she says, I'm the sister. Danielle has said you remind her of her younger self, except you're funnier. Except the thing with Danielle's... You write that, even that's funny, Danielle, you can't help it. Maria Parry has said, go Ruby. Max Jackson has said, what about me, Beth? Who's Max?
Oh, so, you know, Jasmine Huggins, she was Little Miss Tea in Great Britain the year before I won, and that's her cousin.
Right.
So
okay.
we know like Max through Jasmine.
Right. Ellie has put a potentially inflammatory comment there. She's put, Ruby is my fave.
Yeah, so Ellie used to say this as a joke, but now I think she's turned it quite serious. And I think she is being serious. She has like pictures with my sisters at events and things. I have 2 sisters and she like gets pictures with them and posts them all over. And literally, I walked in the other day and my sister was on FaceTime to Ellie. And I was like, right then, I'll just go get new friends.
Oh no. 3 Musketeers are having some problems.
Literally.
Elsa Hannington has said, I love you, Ed.
Oh, that's my best friend from school.
Cool. And Bethany has asked, why is Max... I don't know. Is it he or she? Because Max can be either way. Okay, yeah. He's in the comments, Beth. So that's the only reason. So we have IJM potentially coming up in a couple of months. So, yeah. I mean, it's obviously difficult preparing-wise because everyone's locked indoors at the moment. Have you been able to do any sort of preparations at all whilst in isolation?
Yeah, so I think it was also for me, I was really worried about going to Texas. So I've
Mm,
been like really lucky to have Danielle Latimer, Heather Hopkins, and Harriet Lane helping me out with like getting me mentally prepared to go to the international pageant because it's so much bigger than anything I've done before. So I've had those three be able to like help me and guide me, which I'm really grateful for. So I've been preparing in that way, but also I had to get my evening gown rebeaded, and one
hmm.
of my best friends, Isabel, actually knows how to do the beading. So I had to leave my dress on the driveway in a bag, and then she came and like picked it up, and she's taken that to her house to like rebead it. So we're
Wow,
kind of making progress there.
the things we do in isolation.
Literally.
Beth has asked, "What's your favorite outfit ever?"
Ooh. Um. So I don't know. Oh, I know. It's my fashion wear for IJM. I think. I think that's my favorite outfit ever.
I'm not going to get to divulge it because I know these things are closely guarded secrets. Can you give people a
Literally.
clue?
Um, it's very me. For people that know me, it's very me. It's very sparkly, and
Right.
I think it's gonna have to have its own suitcase going to Texas because it's so heavy that we won't be able to put anything else in the case with it.
How would you describe your fashion sense other than sparkly?
Um, hmm, oh, I don't know really. It depends. For pageants, I think it's very, I don't know, quite a lot of pink. I love a good pink gown. I think I don't know how many I have, but I had something like 11 pink gowns, and my mum keeps trying to get me to
Oh,
sell them,
wow.
but I don't know why. So I just keep like avoiding the topic. But I think definitely pink and sparkly.
I saw the photo, I think, when you won IJM. That was in a pink gown, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was pink with the cape on it.
Yeah. So in your three Musketeers, which soon will be broken apart because of your sister and Ellies liking to. But whilst it still
Literally.
exists, who's a fashionable one in the group, Edison?
Ellie Cochrane. Sorry,
Yes,
Beth, but it's 100% Ellie.
that was a very quick answer.
Yeah, I think
What?
because she does fashion week and things like that, she's just a very stylish person.
Who takes the longest to get ready?
I think me. I was getting ready before, and I think I started getting ready at 5 o'clock because I rang Ellie at 5 o'clock, and then but I just sit there like not doing anything. Like I'll do one little bit, and then I'll just like sit there for like 10 minutes and like have a look around and think about nothing, and they're like, oh yeah, I'll carry on. I just get so distracted.
That's going to be tough in during pageant though. I mean, because pageant's always very time like you don't have much time. So
Yeah, that's why I always get Patrick and Duncan from UK Glam Squad to help me get
yeah,
ready because otherwise I'd have to start getting ready 3 weeks before.
that'd be interesting. Sleeping in your makeup for 3 weeks in a row.
Literally.
Danielle has said, "Always here for you, babe." Uh, Ellie has asked, "What is your favorite pageant memory?"
Ooh, this is a good one. I think one of them would be going to Orlando because I went to Orlando last year when May handed over and Ruby and Kelsey won. So I went to Orlando to support them, and I sold it to my mum like I was going for an appearance. So, like it was an appearance, so she let me go. But I think that was such an amazing holiday. And having like the pageant land, but also being in America. And that's where
Yeah.
I saw Jodie again. I miss Jodie so much. And it's where I tried Takis for the first time. Oh, Takis, they're so good.
What are tackies?
They're crisps, but they only sell them in America. And I think about them like 3 or 4 times a day. They come in like a big, massive bag, and they're like chili and lime. But you can't just buy chili and lime with that; they don't taste the same. I just have to get them. So when I go to Texas, I'm gonna like just bring them all back in a suitcase. I should have had more while I was there.
So they're just crisps, but they're better. They're better versions of
Yeah,
crisps.
so much better.
Hey, uh, I think Danielle is describing your wardrobe as expensive. That's what she's written. Hannah Webster has asked what. I mean, Danielle, you can't talk. Hannah has asked
Exactly.
what. I know. What actually she might have a larger. You said you have 11 or something pink gowns. She's got a whole attic full of the stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Hannah Webster has asked, what are the mandatory rounds in IJM?
So the mandatory rounds are interview, fashion, and evening. And the interview works different. This is another thing that's different to Team GB. So the interview is like round robin. So it was so strange doing it at UK. But so you're in a room with the judges. So I think there's 4, but in UK there was 3. And they're in like a triangle in like the corners of the room. And you have to go in and like have your back to the judge. And then you turn around and you say like, hi, like, and you introduce yourself to the judge. And then you sit down and have a minute with that judge and then the next judge and the next judge instead of like a panel of judges.
Yeah, I think I remember it might have been Rach described it as speed dating. Is that what it's like? Like you spend like a minute with one person, then a minute with someone else, and then a minute with someone else.
Yeah, and they like blow a whistle and you just move around. That's what it's like, speed dating.
It literally is speed dating then. How weird. I think I would find that more stressful. Did you find that more stressful than sort of sitting down in front of a panel?
I think I found it more stressful when I was waiting outside because I didn't really know what to expect. But we did do a practice one before, which was really good. But when I'd done after I'd had the first minute with the first judge, I was so chilled out. And I think it's so much better because for some, like, there was younger girls as well. So Lois is the youngest in the group and she's like 5, 6, something like that. So for her, a panel of judges could be really intimidating. So I think because there's younger girls as well, it's so much better to do it this way.
Yeah. Can you run us through quickly your IJM team? So you already mentioned Lois. So who's in the team?
Yeah, so there's Lois and there's Daisy, and they're the 2 princess and junior princess. And then there's Lila, who is the preteen, and then there's May, which is junior teen. I am teen, and Paige is like the mum of the group, and she's the miss.
Right. And remind me that I always forget the division. So like princess and so what's the youngest to not oldest, the miss, but so is it junior princess or?
Yeah, so it's princess, then junior princess.
Right.
Then preteen, junior teen, teen, and miss.
Right. I always forget which age divisions are what, and America has even more than the UK.
I know, it's so
I get
confusing.
I really get, even when I ask people in the system, they often forget. So I'm not the only one who forgets. Lynn Nelson has said pink is definitely your color. And then I think we've broken apart the 3 Musketeers, Edison, because Bethany Blissett has said rude in caps, we're over. I think this is when you said Ellie is a fashionable one. I think she's taken offense to that.
There's not a lot I can do about it. Beth, you have strong points as well. Beth has strong points that Ellie doesn't.
You might need to continue to make it up to Bethany. What a
Beth. Let me think of Beth's strong points.
Oh no!
I feel on the spot.
Well, I'll let you come because I put you on the spot. That was mean of me. I'll let you come back to because I'm sure we'll pop into your head.
Think. She's got a lot. Yeah. Let me think and come back to that one.
Well, I mean, Bethany is insanely creative. I've seen her,
I think
her sketches that she does.
I think Ellie thinks she is amazing at art, but Bethany is 100% better. Literally breaking up the group here, Adrian.
No, you're just going to get in trouble with Ellie.
My mum was just at the door then peeking her head round and she made me jump. But I think, Beth's the creative one. Ellie has the fashion sense. And then I'm the all-rounder.
Okay. All right. I feel we're just I'm digging you in a deeper and deeper hole.
You
Ellie,
are.
for that. See, Ellie has said, thanks, Edison, I love you. Then, although a comment underneath would be, now I hate you. Ellie has asked, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, okay. So I think first of all, it depends what happens with coronavirus. I know that sounds crazy, but there was a thing on the news the other day talking about how I'm in year 12, so it's my first year of A-levels, about how we might have to resit the full year.
Yeah.
So,
same in Australia.
I think that if I have to, like, if we all have to resit the full year, then it changes slightly. But I want to go to uni to do fashion and business management. But I think I'm
Nice.
going to take a gap year first because I want to travel. And Beth did agree to come with me, but Ellie will still be in school. But I don't know if Beth is still going to want to come after this interview. But yeah.
Well, who knows? I'm sure she will. Lynn has written Daisy loved the round robin so much better, so you were right there. Millie Joe, hey Millie, has asked, what's the biggest lesson you've learnt?
I think that the biggest lesson that I've learned is just to be myself. So when I first entered pageants, I saw myself comparing like me to a lot of the other girls and like seeing them on Instagram and thinking, oh my gosh, like she's done this many appearances or she's raised this much amount like of money for charity and I haven't raised that much and that means I'm not going to win. But I think that that just stresses you out so much more. And this is your own pageant journey. And I think I've learned that like you're doing this for you and at the end of the day, it's just a hobby. I used to get so stressed out about like internationals and TGB even, but now like just I need to go there and just be myself and yeah, hopefully I'll do okay.
I'm sure you'll do very well. Ruth Wade, who's the director of IJM? I've been meaning
Ruth
to
Wade.
ask. Okay, so that makes sense. Hey Ruth, she's watching. She's put in the division ages. So junior princess is 4 to 6, princess 7 to 9, and then preteen, junior teen, teen, miss. I know also what adds a bit of confusion is sometimes different pageants have different cutoffs for the different ages,
Yeah.
so it just gets really confusing sometimes. So thanks for that, Ruth. Because obviously, for example, a lot of pageants, the miss cutoff is 28, not 24, and then some have gone up to
Yeah.
30 and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bethany has written, "Why did you take so long?" and then a lot of crying faces, but also that she's only kidding. Alison, good on you, Beth. Alison has asked, what tips can you give to people thinking about entering IJM? And just before you answer that, is this the first year that IJM has run in the UK?
Yeah, so last year Ruth sent Mia to internationals and
Hmm.
she was preteen, but she just sent just one queen. And
Right.
then this is the first year that there's a group of us going.
Okay, all right. So what tips can you give to people thinking about entering the IJM system?
So I think that you should 100% enter the IJM system. Like, I am so glad that I entered, but it's completely different to a few other pageants. So it's like in the UK, Ruth tries to reflect everything like it's going to be at internationals. So the people
Hmm.
that do take home the crowns get like an idea of how it's going to be. So the
Yeah.
things like casual wear, spokesmodel, that's not something that's really that big in the UK. And also the round robin thing. So I think you definitely just have to like research the pageant and check that this is something that you want to do because it is different to other pageants in the UK. But once you enter, you won't regret it because it's such an amazing system.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea as well that they prep you guys for what it's going to be like in America
Yeah,
because otherwise you'll get over there and you'll be in for the shock of your life. Um,
exactly.
what have for you, Edison? What have been sort of the biggest differences between, let's say, IJM and more so the typical UK pageants?
So I think it's mainly like the interview and things like that. But Galaxy, I don't think the Galaxy is as American in the UK
Mm,
as IJM is. Like Galaxy
yeah,
is still a very UK pageant, which I love about Galaxy. But IJM, it is you don't realize how big it actually is until you research it and look into it. But like it is huge. It's I think that's one of the biggest differences for me was how because it's so huge, there's so many girls from the US entering, which makes it
yeah,
very American.
yeah. I also know
And
that you go, Edison.
and thank you. Girls that in the UK were quite reserved really compared to like American pageants. So like when you compare, we're quite reserved really and quite just, you know. So it's a like a
Yeah.
big difference.
Yeah, you guys might actually need coaching in how to sort of speak out a bit more because versus the Americans, you guys may not get your words in edgewise because they
Literally.
won't be afraid they won't be afraid to lay it all on the line. Because IJM also, I think they just held their first proper competition here in Australia, and I know having spoken to Rach again, Rach Everin, the current IJM team, that the prize package for International Junior Miss. I think it won Best Prize Package for Pageant Planet. It's
Yeah,
huge.
it is huge.
It's
It is an amazing prize package.
it's ridiculous in terms of how much you get if you win. I mean, ridiculous in a good way. So
Yeah.
if nothing else, I would be excited for that. And I guess maybe if you've done a lot of UK pageants, maybe it's good to give something a bit different a go. Maybe
Yeah.
American system may suit more of some of you more so than the typical UK systems. Ellie has said it's fine. I can take the constructive criticism. Danielle has said you are wise beyond your years, Ed. And Millie Joe is asking the important questions. If there was one thing you could change in the world, what would it be and why?
Oh, really coming here with the difficult questions this evening. That tackies were made in the UK. No, I'm joking. um, that's a joke. If I could change one thing, I think it'd be something that I've been trying to promote for quite a few years now, and that is mental health. So in the UK, mental health is it's a touchy subject that people don't willingly talk about that much. But I think it's really important to talk about, that it's okay. And this is what I did my spokesmodel speech on, that we're
Right.
quite a social media dependent generation. And through social media, like I was saying before, like checking how much each girl's raised and things like that can just like add so much stress and pressure. And teenagers are already going through a lot of changes. So I'd want to change that we can talk more about mental health and like just not put as much pressure on each other as we do, because it's not worth it for like there's bigger things going on in the world, So I just want to change
Absolutely.
something like that.
Yeah, I mean, social media has its good parts and its bad parts. Obviously, if you are in a pageant and you can really psych yourself out, I feel, when you look at the
Yeah,
competition, because everyone wants to put their best foot forwards, and sometimes people are
exactly.
also exaggerating a little bit, and then you look at what they've done and you go, oh my God, I could never do that. So, yeah, I
Yeah.
absolutely agree with that. Ellie has said, she's asked, who is your role model?
Oh, I have a few. So my first role model, I think, would have to be my mum, because she's the one who, like, let me start this whole pageant journey and has supported me all the way through. And she's like raising 3 other children, but she always makes time to make sure that we all have different hobbies. But obviously, one of my sisters is coming to steal mine now, but it's fine. Um, but we all have different hobbies, but she always makes sure that we all feel like equally, important in what we do. So, and she's also like building a business, and she's just a queen, really. So my mum, and then also my pageant nana, my mum's mum, because she's the lady who drives me up and down the country every single weekend. And we do fall out quite a bit in the car because she doesn't go the right way that I tell her to. I'll say left and she'll turn right. But yeah, also my nana.
Is there any reason that when you tell her to turn left, she turns right? Or
But I think she just wants to disagree with me. And the sat nav will clearly say turn left, and she won't do it.
dear me, your sister, you're getting put on getting put on the spot quite a lot, Edison. I think this is what
Oh
happens when you're the
gosh,
last of the trio to get interviewed. Because now she said, do
literally.
your accent, the Aussie one, and then she's put an
Who said
X.
that?
Your
My
sister.
sister. I'm gonna kill her when I get off this live stream. No, I can't do an Australian accent. Like I actually can't do it.
It's okay, Edison. I can't do one. I
No.
mean, Ellie did hers, and I told her she just sounds like the crocodile hunter. Like there's no one here that actually sounds like the way that Ellie, except Bondi Rescue. But that's TV. She's like, oh, I'm gonna save the people from the water, and I'm like, I
Yeah,
don't
this is
sound
what
like
she
that.
always says. I can only say this. And Ellie always says that when she's older, she's going to move to Australia and she's going to become part of the Bondi Rescue, and she's going to spend her days on the beach saving people from the water.
See, you actually got some of the subtle parts right, like the way you said water, because as I said, Australians can't say water; it's water. Everything's just water.
Water.
Yeah, Ellie, the other thing is if you're still watching, the one thing that Australians are famous for, but is really quite bad, especially in pageantry, we end every sentence going up rather than a
Really?
statement. Yeah, so you say, "Hi, my name's Adrian, and yeah, I'm IJM UK team, and yeah, it's nice to meet you." It's like this search for validation. It's a really bad thing because it makes you sound very uncertain. But Ellie, if you want to further your Aussie accent,
I'm sure that's what
then
she'll be doing this evening.
she'll be practicing it on FaceTime with you guys.
She will.
Let me just go. There's a lot of comments here. Daisy and Lois don't need to worry about being quiet. Yeah, that's good, especially in
That's so
America.
true.
Your sister is going to be dead after this because she's asked you to do also your Scottish accent.
No, I'm 100% not doing it. I can't do it. I don't know why she's saying that. That's not even a joke, Ruby. When I get off this live stream, Ruby, you watch.
I think she's just
That
trying to wind you up.
I think look. I've been so nice to her as well. I've talked about how she's an all-rounder and how she's so clever and all this. And this is how she's repaying me by getting me to do all these accents that I can't do.
Oh dear. Uh, okay, we'll go through a few more questions and then I'll run you through the final 10 questions, Edison. And then if there are any more questions from the viewers, I'll let you know. Let me
Okay.
just actually I might do that now because there's actually there's a lot of questions. So let's go through the final 10, Edison. But before the final 10, I always give people a chance to shout outs. I mean, you've already given a shout out to your mum and your nan. Are there anyone else, like directors, sponsors, that you want to give a shout out to for supporting you along your pageant journey?
Like I said before, just Danielle Latimer, Harriet Lane, and Heather Hopkins, because those two have helped me like so much with the pageant journey. So definitely those three ladies for helping me.
Nice. You got two of the tallest people in pageant world helping you. So and Danielle as well. So, all right, let's go through the final 10. So, question the first: what is your favorite word?
I don't really have a favorite word. Yes. I think yes.
Sounds good.
Because when I want things, my mum just yes.
You want to hear yes. Mum, can I enter the pageant? Yes. Mum, can I go overseas? Yes. So then question 2 is, what is your least favorite word?
No.
Walked right into that one, didn't we? Okay, question 3. In life, what gets you excited? What turns you on?
Pageants. Going to pageants gets me excited. Like when you're on the way and you're pulling up and you're like 3 minutes away and you're texting your friends saying that you're about to get there. That is so exciting.
Yeah. I had that when I turned up to UK Galaxy. It was so exciting. It's like, oh, who am I going to see? Question 4. What turns you off?
Rude people. Unnecessarily rude people.
And probably right now your sister as well.
Yeah, Ruby.
Ruby, if I was you, I'd be running out of the house right now, but don't because it's isolation. Hide in the house. Question 5.
You better hide, Ruby.
Yeah, but take your phone with you so you can keep annoying Edison. Question 5. What sound or noise do you love?
It's a strange sound, but yeah, I think it's this one. You know when you do Apple Pay? This is such a funny sound. And when you like click it to it and then it goes da-ding. And then it vibrates in your hand when it goes like da-ding. That I love that.
Yeah, that's a good answer. That's actually similar to Harriet's answer. Harriet Lane's answer was she loves the noise of Messenger refreshing when you pull down.
Oh, I know which one she means.
That sound. And then she tried doing it on air and it wouldn't work for her. But I know the exact sound you're talking about. Well, question 6, what sound or noise do you hate?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, I know which one it is. You know, when you're on FaceTime and then your battery dies and it goes like, zoom. Do you know which one I mean? That one. That's because you know your phone's going to die and you can't get to the charger in time. Then it goes like, zoom. That is such an annoying sound.
You would have had a lot of that being on FaceTime every morning until 5 or 6 in the morning. Question 7. If you could have any one superpower, what would you pick and why?
To be able to eat as much as I want but never put weight on. Because then I could eat as many takis as I wanted and never get fat. And never have to like go to the gym and things.
That sounds good to me. It's difficult in isolation. I feel everyone's going to come out looking like a potato, and the people who come out, there's a few people who always go, no, I've got my routine happening, and I'm doing all these workouts, and I'm
Yeah.
going to be ripped, and I'm just like looking at them going, oh,
You know who's one
I
of those
hate you.
people? Ellie Corcoran. Well, I don't know if she actually is, but she keeps saying like she's gonna do all these workouts. And the other day she made me and Beth FaceTime her to do a 20-minute yoga session with her. We didn't really want to do it, but we didn't really have a choice. So here we are doing this yoga session, and we had to just like copy Ellie because she wouldn't turn us on to like look at the screen. So we were just trying to like copy Ellie do this stupid yoga session. But I think she does actually work out every single day, which I don't know where she gets the motivation from.
Does Ellie actually know how to do yoga though? Because, well,
I think so.
actually,
She was
Ellie, you
quite
can.
good, you know. She was quite, and she
Okay.
goes on daily runs, like on the beach as well. If I lived where she lived, though, I think I would be more motivated to run.
But yeah, living next to the beach.
Mm.
Okay. Question 8. It's a bit different because you're finishing up school, but basically it's what job would you love to try? Like, what's your dream job?
My mum and dad's job, I think, is my dream job. So they have their own business in children's mental health, like working in the healthcare sector privately. And I think just their job, because it's something I'm so passionate about. So I decided to go to uni to do business and fashion management because I'm really interested in fashion, but then also business management. Then they can give me their business.
So tell me more about your parents' business. So it's children's mental health, is it?
Yeah, so it's like children that suffer from mental health issues. So it could be anything from, depression, anxiety, suicide. It's the work within the healthcare sector. So they have a therapeutic placement and they have like look after children there, but they also go into schools and help children and work with their families in school.
That's amazing. All right, let's put your sister to work. So Ruby, rather than just winding Edison up, can you put a link to your parents' business or their socials in the comments, and then everyone can check it out, and I'll give it a look as well, rather than just annoying your sister.
I don't know if she's going
Question,
to know it. I think it's at Associated Wellbeing, it's called.
Ruby, I have faith in you. Use the
You
brain.
can do it, Rue.
Yeah, since you've wound up your sister so much, find out your parents' social details or their website, put it in the comments, and then go and hide because Edison's going to kill you. Question 9. What occupation would you definitely not like to attempt?
Um, like a school teacher, I think, for like senior school. Because
Right.
I've just finished with senior school and there was some like really nasty people in my class that were so mean to the teacher. They like throw things at teachers and just be so, especially language teachers, like French and German. Those teachers always
Yeah.
got picked on so much. I would
What,
not want to be a
why
German teacher.
why is it particularly language teachers, or is it more just so that they're easy
I feel
targets?
like, yeah, people like when we got to the end of year 11, I think all of the boys didn't really care about like their French GCSE. So they were just
Mhm.
like, oh, we'll just annoy the teacher instead. So frustrating.
Right. Yeah, poor teachers. Okay, final question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Um, that they do pageants in heaven and that I'll win them all.
Or your sister might.
No, see, this is what I mean. She's just going to overtake me and everything now.
Oh dear. Okay, all right. So let me just go through. There's a lot of questions here. So Elsa has asked, when you first started pageants, what were you most nervous about?
Um, I think I was, well, like I said, I compared myself to a lot of the other girls. So I think I was most nervous, not about meeting the girls, but about like the competition, if that makes sense. So I think I was just nervous about like actually getting into the competition because Team GB, it's like a day first where it's the challenge day and the pajama party. So that's really good at Team GB. So you have a day to meet all the girls first. So
Yeah.
that like calmed me down a lot.
Yeah. Uh, Now, I'll go through these. There are a lot of comments here, Edison. So I'll let you after we get off the live, you can go back through and comment back. I'll just go through the questions. Ellie Cochran has asked, "What's your biggest fear?"
Spiders. I think it's spiders, or just all of their legs everywhere, just running about the house. Or they're disgusting.
Don't do Australia then. Molly Patching has asked, "What was the decider that IJM was the one for you?"
May Parry didn't give me a choice. That was the
It sounds like
first
she
thing
just
that I didn't really
dragged
have a
you kicking and
choice.
screaming. Yeah.
But the second thing, when I looked into the pageant and saw that Ruth was the director and looked at it internationally, I thought this is so amazing and something that I have to try.
Ellie has said, "Oh, you bet I'll be practicing in the mirror after this live." All right, get
She
that
will.
accent, Ellie. You'll have a better Aussie accent than I will. Lynn has written, "Pretend you are Daisy and do her accent."
Oh, she has a Scottish accent. I can't really do Scottish. All I can say is
That's not
Scottish
bad.
is Space Ghettos. We're going to see the Space Ghettos tonight. That's all I can say is Scottish.
Yeah, the rolled as Maria Torres said, the Scots add extra syllables. That's why I get so confused.
Yeah.
So it's pageant world.
Ghettos. I don't know how they do it.
Ghettos.
Literally.
I don't know. It sounds nice. Like even if you don't understand what a Scottish person
you just
is
have to
saying,
like nod and smile.
Yeah, but it also sounds really lovely. It's like this
That's
lovely
true.
lovely musical accent, and you can't understand a word they're saying. Danielle has said, "Love you, Ed. Oi, less of the shade, Adrian." Sorry, Danielle, but I mean, compared to Heather and Harriet, you're definitely not the tall one out of those three. Let's see. Your sister has said, "I think we'll have to move to Nana's house."
Yeah, off you go, Ruby. You know what? You're probably the favourite grandchild as well now. I used to think it was me, but it's probably you now. So off you go there.
You have a fairly dry and sarcastic sense of humor, Edison, and you do know what they say, that people who have sarcastic sense of humor are the intelligent ones.
Yeah, that's true. That's me.
There you go. So you might have you win that at least. Okay. Debbie Hughes has said, "Heidi Leek says hi, love you, Ed."
Oh, I met Heidi the first year of competing in Team GB, and Heidi is somebody else that I speak to every single day. And her mum at pageants, my mum can't always come to them because she's working and things like that, and it's
Of
like quite a
course.
high strain job, so she has to be there quite a bit. So Debbie is like my pageant mum at pageants.
Right. It's good to have more than one pageant mum.
Mm.
Cherry Lee Clark has said, she understands the Apple Pay sound. She thought it was only her. Debbie is now speaking of Heidi's asking, do an Australian accent. What?
No, I've already done it. It's too late. You weren't here. I've already done it. I'm not doing it again.
Yeah, Ellie has said you're amazing. Ed, Debbie has asked question, who's your fave pageant mum?
Debbie.
That's the right answer. Ruby has well done. She's put the website for your parents'
Well
business
done,
there,
Ruby.
associatedwellbeing.info. Thank you, Ruby. Does that mean you're not going to kill her now, or are you still going to kill her? She should run to your nana's house.
She could walk there now. Like, I'm not as mad. She could walk, and instead of having to run away.
Okay. Walk, Ruby, but obey social distancing.
But yeah, she
rules.
still has to go.
Heidi has said, "I love you, Ed," with a lot of X's. Bethany has said, "So proud, well done." Are there any more questions? Heidi is still pestering you about go on, do us an Aussie accent, Ed. I think this has become an ongoing thing, and it's all Beth's fault because Beth did her Dion impression, and then Ellie did her Australian accent, and now they've just assumed that you do accents as well. So
exactly, but this isn't my strong point. Like, I'm gonna have to go to like accent lessons. See, this is why I want to travel for a year. Beth, we can spend like 6 weeks in each place and perfect our accent, and then move on.
That would be good for acting. Okay, let's finish with this one from your sister. Who's they're really putting you on the spot. Who's your fave sister, me or Rose?
I don't know why she put that because they're both going to be watching. I don't have a favourite sister, but I do have a favourite sibling, and it's Sammy, which is my youngest brother.
That's a good answer. Okay, well, Edison, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. I will keep you on the line for just a sec whilst I hang up with the audience, and then I'll let you go because I know you have to go and kill your sister. So, start running, Ruby. Thanks everyone for watching and putting in your questions and helping put Edison on the spot. She's probably going to be very unhappy. Going to be very unhappy with some of you, but that's the way it goes. And we will speak to you again soon.
Hey guys, it's Adrian again. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and remember to head over to pageantlaunch.com and join the launch team for our pageant review site. All you need to do is put in your email address. Thanks, and speak to you next time.